That was fun.
Nice. Feels good.
How do you feel about that gong drum?
Man, I really like that. That's a lot of fun. I
I'm
mean,
glad you dig
it's it's a lot of fun. It really is.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, welcome to Beats and Brews, everybody. I'm Aaron Roy. This is Adam Argullin. Did I get that right? Click.
Argullin.
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 You know, we were talking about the Spanish way to pronounce it. We were talking about the normal way. So it
Whatever
was
way
bound to
works.
happen.
Whatever way works with me.
So how are you doing tonight?
Doing really good. Doing really good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you having me up tonight.
I really appreciate you being here. This is really special way for me to connect, and I think we've only met like once or twice, and haven't really gotten much FaceTime.
It's true.
So this is really special to
I
get
was
your
actually.
undivided attention for an hour.
It's funny because I was actually thinking about that earlier, like how I met you for the first time.
Hmm.
We were at a battle of the bands essentially, and
Good old Nash Next.
yep, there was that quick changeover between drummers, and I came back to help you, and I remember you stopping me afterwards and thanking me for helping the quick change and things like that.
Yeah, man. Um, what's funny is I remember there was some sort of mic that was like falling down on your drum set, and me being like the techie stagehand person that I am, I don't want to see another drummer have to work around that mic. So I went up there and got the mic stand all taken care of.
Yeah, now that I totally forgot about that, but I believe you're absolutely right. I feel like it was a hi-hat mic or something like that fell down,
Hmm.
and it kept falling down for the majority of the show, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yep.
at times, man,
You know, that's Battle of the Bands
absolutely.
gigs for you, right?
Yeah.
So I want to encourage everyone that's out there watching. If you have any questions for us, please just chime in. I want this to be interactive. Also, there tends to be some latency sometimes, or some tech issues. So if there's something funky going on out there, just let us know. We can troubleshoot on the fly and try to fix some things. So just let us know. Um, so with that being said, can you tell us a little bit how you got started and what inspired you to start playing drums?
Sure. Well, I grew up in a musical household. My dad's a musician, still is a musician, and from a very early age, I enjoyed music. I always credit, and my parents have always said I started playing roughly when I was 5 years old. I've still got a picture, and it's beautiful. It's of me and my first drum set. It had
Mhm.
like the Muppets on the front head.
Yes.
Like a junior, like a starter kit, like one of those.
Uh-huh.
And that was my first drum set that I got when I was 5. And from that point, my first real drum set that I'd gotten was somewhere around the age of, I'm wanting to say 8 or 9. It was an old school CB 700.
Mm-hmm.
Got my first kit, had some old school camber cymbals, and I rocked that thing until I saved up enough money to buy my first real drum set. Drove down to Forks Drum Closet in Nashville and
Oh wow.
got my first kit, first real kit. But I got my first paid gig, I guess you would say, when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
I actually, this is gonna sound really weird, but
I'm all for the weirdness.
I started working when I was 11. Got my first job that summer at an amusement park, but that year I got my first paid gig in a recording studio. It was my dad's best friend had a small recording studio. It's kind of place where someone would do like their family's greatest hits or whatever, kind of one of
Yeah.
those albums. And there was a band coming in to do a gospel album, and drummer couldn't make it. And I don't know how far down the list I was, but
Mhm.
I got the call.
What?
Yeah, and at 11 years old, I'm just
11.
excited. So I remember throwing all the drums in my dad's minivan because that's what you did back
Uh-huh.
then, and I went and did it, and it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Yes.
But
Did you play to a click?
click? Come on, I was 11 years old. There was no click. The
Yeah.
click was in here back then. No, there was no click. There were no in ears. There
Uh-huh.
was nothing. There was me playing the best I could To Have a Little Talk with Jesus. That was my first
Yes.
recorded track, I'm pretty sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a way to jump into it.
Yeah. I think I think I got paid $50 for that one. And I tried to talk myself down to 25 because my dad had told me, he's like, if they ask you how much money, tell them $25. And the guy went to give me 50, and I looked at him with my dad's, advice in my ears. I'm like, how about 25? I had no business sense whatsoever. From that point, I started working at an amusement park with my parents. I was a gunfighter. I was an actor, musician, kind of did everything, and I did that job for 10 years.
Man.
It was a summer gig, so while I was in high school and college, it was a thing that I could do during the summer. I got to play drums in a country music show, like a little variety show. I got to do some acting, some gunfighting, some stuff like that. They were long, long days, but it was people I got.
Cutting your teeth.
It was. I had a good time doing it. It was a lot of good experience. I finally left that when I was in college. I ended up staying in Richmond instead of coming back home during the summer. Just as I'd gotten into later on in my college years, and I had also switched my major. I'd started college as a music education major, and then I switched over to music merchandising. And after 2 years, I ended up switching again, and I ended up graduating, basically studying both criminal justice and music merchandising.
Great.
It's weird. Job interviews, you just get strange looks, but that's the gig. But
Yep, fair enough. So, being a freelance drummer, you've been involved with quite a few different bands and artists throughout the years. I know I see you pop up on social media here and there, like, hey, I've got this weekend available.
Yeah.
Make great jerky, and I can play drums and I can learn them quickly. Are you playing with anyone at the moment?
I'm just kind of subbing right now.
Okay.
And I honestly enjoy doing that. As crazy as it sounds, I like it because you don't really get the opportunity to get bored.
Yeah.
And you know as well as I do, when you play with a lot of people in an area like the music community here is in this town, you end up making a lot of friends. And the cool thing about subbing with different people is I get to see different friends. And the other cool thing about that is I might play with this band and see this friend that I played with in this band.
Yeah.
And then, like the other night, I played with somebody that I hadn't played with before, and I didn't expect to know anyone at the gig. Got there, I knew the bass player from another gig. So it was nice to see a familiar face and have that line of communication. Absolutely.
I also like freelancing and working with a bunch of different people because you make more friends that way. You network with more people. There's pros and cons to it. I think it's also a beautiful thing to be dedicated to one band.
Absolutely.
However, there is something to be said with freelancing and knowing a lot more people because of that. And I feel like it kind of widens your pool a little bit with with the people that you play music with. And I learned something from everybody that I play with. So why would you not want to play with as many people as possible?
And I think I think every musician that goes out and tries to play with as many different people that they can, it makes them a better musician because you learn good and bad from everybody that you play with. And the more diverse persons that you can play with, I think the more diverse it's going to make you as a player yourself. And I actually, it's funny, and I'm not trying to get away from that, but when I practice, I typically don't practice things that I am playing out at the moment. I practice things that I don't normally do just to make myself do different things, not get stuck in a rut, because that way when somebody gives me some freedom on a solo when we're playing a bar gig because somebody needs to take a bathroom break, I might take that as the opportunity to pull out some Latin beat that I've been working on that week just to see if it works and to wake everybody else up.
That's cool. That's cool. And, I'm sure you've played the Tin Roofs and the Broadways, and you don't always have a restroom break, so
No.
you gotta keep it moving.
Yeah, that's there's certain chains that you play at that are 4 straight hours, and 4 straight hours can, People don't realize how long that is until your bladder is full. 4 hours
Exactly.
doesn't seem like a long time until that moment
And
hits.
a couple people have bought rounds for the band,
It's
and
yeah.
it adds up for sure.
That's why it's always good to have the strategically placed um, ballad that somebody can pull off for at least 3 to 4 minutes to give the band a bathroom break.
Yes.
I've only played one time where the singer, and I'm not going to say who I was playing with, took a bathroom break and forgot to mute his mic while the band was jamming
Oh
on
no.
a rock song, and you could
Yes.
clearly hear
The stream.
everything and the flush. You heard the
Yeah.
flush. No hand wash, but that's not here or there.
You had to get back to the stage.
I know, clearly.
That's hilarious. Um, so you became a police officer in 2001. Is that correct?
It is. It is. I ventured a little bit from the music path right out of college. I had a long conversation with my dad right before I switched my major and mentioned my dad is still a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, he kind of gave me the advice of would you ever want to retire one day? You know, have this and that, and he's selling it all to me. And what I didn't realize,
401k.
yeah, so, and he put it to me like this: musicians don't retire; they die. You play music till that point that you can't play music anymore. There is no cushy retirement for musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose a path that I thought I could find a lot of interest and a lot of things that I could do, help some people in the progress, and it also allowed me to retire. The good thing
Wow.
about it is I was still able to play music while I was still an officer. You know, I still had a set schedule. I was still able to do that, and I was even able to incorporate music into my career in law enforcement. I I did a lot of different things in law enforcement. I did patrol. I did some undercover stuff. I became certified as what's called a drug recognition expert. It's to
Okay.
combat impaired drivers from impairment from things other than alcohol, like drug impairment.
Okay.
I even took it a step further and taught the DARE program for my last 9 years as an officer. Even got an award for DARE Officer of the Year. And I'm not bragging. The
Uh-huh.
only reason I got that award is because I found a different way to do it. Like instead of being the officer in the uniform I told them straight up on the first day, hey, I play music, I play drums. And I just kind of threw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time I came to class, they wanted to know more about me. And it was nice that they realized that I wasn't just some dude in a uniform that
Yeah.
they could make a personal connection. And then at their DARE graduation, I showed up not in uniform, wearing the DARE T-shirt, skinny jeans, Chuck Taylors, and I played drums for the students. And
That is really cool.
and I loved doing that. I did that all 9 years that I taught the DARE program. I
Wow.
loved it. I even took it a step further and I wrote my own school assembly program called Stay Tuned
Mm-hmm.
because I had all this background in drug work and understanding what drugs do to the body. That's what that certification was. I went to school to understand what drugs are doing to the body, and that's kind of what the program consists of, being able to go to court and testify as an expert on why this person was impaired at the time they were operating that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So with that advanced knowledge, I wanted to put that out there to students, because in law enforcement, you are always reacting to a problem.
Uh-huh.
What if I could get out there in front of the problem before it escalates? And that's kind of why I wanted to do it. And I also realized that if I went into those schools and said all that information in uniform, they're going to tune me out. I
Mm-hmm.
go in there looking like them,
You rip a drum solo?
for some reason, then they'll listen.
Yeah.
But whatever it takes,
Yeah.
And I always say this at every show that I've ever done, all the time it took to learn everything that I learned and put the program together and pack all the drums and all the sound equipment and set it up. If one person at one show takes one thing away and they use that one thing to help themselves or one other person, then all that time was worth it.
Mhm.
And that's kind of always how I've looked at it.
Man, that is so cool. And you were able to combine both worlds.
Yeah, it was actually, I can't say that anybody else would have the opportunity to do it the way I did. I'm
Uh-huh.
very fortunate that
Yeah.
I got to do it my way, and I'm thankful that I got to do it my way because it worked. And I enjoy doing it. I totally love doing it. A couple years ago, I stopped at a Chipotle, a random Chipotle in Florence, Kentucky.
I love Chipotle.
Yeah, I kind of it is my weakness to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I, not in uniform, was walking out with my bag of food, and I heard someone shout out from across the parking lot, Officer Adam, which is what always went by in the schools. I never said my last. I can't even hardly pronounce my last name, let alone
I certainly can either.
no. So I heard Officer Adam, and I turned around, and two students waving at me, and I went over. And at this point, I had taught them when they were in fifth grade,
Mm-hmm.
10 or 11 years old. They're high school seniors at this point. They went to different schools. I didn't teach them at the same school.
Mm-hmm.
They were dating,
Wow.
and they both remembered me, and they were talking. It was just a cool thing to
Full
hear
circle.
that. It was, and that was many years later after I taught them.
Well,
So that was neat.
I think that really proves how big of an impression you made with those kids, and it sounds like you did your job,
Hopefully,
in a very entertaining way.
I try to do whatever I can. I know it's another line I've said many times, but I tell people when I teach them the things about drugs, it's not like I'm trying to build a better mousetrap or anything.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to try different types of cheese. It's just looking at things a different way. It's all about one's perspective. And
Yep.
um,
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a cool saying. I love cheese too. So.
it is though. If you look at just sometimes if you look at things from a different perspective, you might get a different. I just had this conversation with my son the other day. We were talking about the concept of time. You know, you know as well as I do in this day and age, a lot of people get very impatient. We were talking about how long time is. Oh, it's taken forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you think about how long something is, you're talking about a train, how long the train was taken to pass. It's like if you think about the average song that you're listening to on your phone right now with both ears in, not paying attention to me,
Mhm.
the average song is about 3.5 minutes.
Yep.
That train that seems like it's taken forever, you're probably not going to get through an entire verse and chorus before the train's done. It's all about just your perspective of how long things are.
Mhm.
It's just how you look at it.
Yeah.
So
I dig it. I dig it. So with that being said, so have you transitioned since you're not really doing the police officer stuff anymore? Do you still play drums and give like inspirational seminars or anything like that?
well, since retiring from my police career, I've been fortunate enough that I still teach regularly. I have a contract position where I teach certain impaired driving programs as in-service classes to police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Police officers have to take so many hours of in-service each year, and this program that I teach with some other instructors on behalf of the state of Kentucky is an in-service class to help officers better identify impaired drivers from substances other than alcohol,
Okay.
drugged drivers. So I teach regularly with the state, and I've been doing that since I retired. I've been doing it for many years. I've actually been an instructor for the program. This is my 15th year as an instructor for that program.
Wow.
I just realized that. Wow. Um, uh, but in addition to doing that, when I have time, I still do school assembly programs. I still do those. I do the occasional drug training class for businesses. I do some drum clinics from time to time. I did the Northern Kentucky Percussion Festival, I believe was the title they gave it, back in December.
That's
It was
exciting.
in Grant County. I gave a presentation there.
How nerve-wracking is that?
I love doing them. I absolutely love doing them. For me, doing public speaking or get up in front of people, I
Mhm.
enjoy doing it. It's just one of those things. I started acting when I was young.
Mhm.
Just being up in front of people never bothered me. I know it does some people,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, I just find it pretty comfortable. If I'm comfortable with what I'm doing,
Mhm.
it's whatever. I love doing clinics,
Mhm.
and one of the things that I did this past time is I actually got students up and made them drum because everybody just wants to be a wallflower and sit back there and watch. And
Yeah.
I want to see what kind of talent's in the room. And I love seeing when some of the students let go. And it's good to see some of that passion and fire that's there.
I bet.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really cool. So I want to talk about your mallets,
Yes, sir.
and if you could, oh, okay, it, the shot is panned over to me. Let me grab a couple of these. Look at these beautiful mallets. Um, so Adam was kind enough to bring some over, and
That's right.
these are maracas
Those
and mallets.
those are the new Malaracas. I introduced those a couple years ago for my 25th anniversary. It's the combination of a maraca and a mallet. It's not something that you would use for just regular suspended cymbals. It's definitely not a it's a want, not a need.
Yeah.
It's definitely not something you're going to use every day, but what I really like is from time to time I'll get people send me just short videos on their phone of, "Hey, look what I did with these today. Look what use I found for these." And I kind of dig seeing what people come up with. The first email that I got from somebody that used those was Artie Pyle
Okay.
from Leonard Skinner. His actual son, I believe,
Oh,
was the one
Artemis
that
Pyle.
Artemis Pyle. Yeah.
Okay.
He,
I don't know him by Artie.
Sorry.
Like,
I don't either. Honestly, I just read it online. I thought it'd sound cool. But he had met him at the Music City Drum Show, the first annual Music City Drum Show a couple years ago, and he came over right after the event started. Bought the first pair that I had available that day, and a few days after
Wow.
the event happened, he emailed me and said, "Hey, we're using these in the studio right now." So
Oh,
I think
how
that
special is
it's
that?
neat when I get to hear those.
That's, I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
I, one of the coolest things to me is I haven't played on a lot of recordings, especially not a lot of recordings that anybody would have heard.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I can say is that my mallets have been used on that recording. So
That's special.
I'm a part of that recording in its own weird sense of it's cool when I get to hear a song on the radio that I know that artist's drummer is somebody that uses my mallets. He's using them on that song right now. It's a cool feeling to me.
100%.
As geeky as that sounds, I got the first time that I did a mallet order that I want to say of substance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it actually landed me in Modern Drummer magazine. Not a picture of me or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but my name of these mallets made by Adam Argullin, which was really cool for me. There's a cymbal company called TRX Cymbals.
Uh-huh.
They introduced a line of suspended cymbal mallets back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Then I wrapped every single one that they sold by hand. They were their company's colors. And when they had the sticks printed, it had my name printed on them. That was like the coolest thing in the world. I still got the first pair hanging on the wall in my
Man.
studio. And I've got an issue of that Modern Drummer
Drummer.
hanging on the wall, too. Oh, yeah.
That's so special.
Yeah. To,
Wow.
to be able to say that I made it in the magazine for really nothing
Mm-hmm.
is still a cool feeling.
100%. I mean, especially as drummers, like
Yeah.
that's the pinnacle of like drum magazines.
Oh, yeah.
That's really awesome.
Somebody asked me the other day, "What's Modern Drummer magazine?" I was like, "It's Sports Illustrated for drum geeks." That's exactly what it is.
Yep, that's the best way of putting
Yes.
it. Did you say these are the 20th anniversary?
Yeah. So when I had my 20th anniversary, I decided to do something different, and I wanted to redesign the way I made mallets. And
Take a look at
what
these.
I did was redesigned the core as a whole. So the whole shape of the core could be a hand model. That was good.
Thank you.
It's working,
Yeah.
honestly. So I wanted to redesign the entire shape of the mallet, starting with the core, so it's much slimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And the big reason is because if you look at the orange mallets you have over there, you can kind of see what the playing surface is going to be. What part of the mallet is going to hit the surface of the cymbal.
Mm-hmm.
The 20s over there have a much larger playing surface.
Yep.
So it's going to take less force on your part to create the sound. It's going to be a much more full sound. And honestly, this is just an aesthetic thing. It's going to take up less space in a stick bag.
Yeah.
So it's less chance for it to snag on brushes or hot rods or whatever stuff we keep in our stick bag. That was kind of the thought behind it. And since then, those are probably my favorite just suspended cymbal mallets I make.
Are
Just
these
all,
your go-tos basically now?
no, my go-tos would be the swizzles that you have there, just
Uh-huh.
for the simple fact that it's the end all be all. It covers everything I need. It's a soft mallet on the butt end, and I still have access to the tip on the other end. Whether I'm playing a smoky bar or playing a church gig, I have a pair of those with me in my backpack at all times. That's just my go-to. And those are I use standard a stretched 5A naked drumstick. I don't use any lacquer on the ones that I typically produce, just
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a sweaty beast, and I know there's other drummers out there that are like me that are
Yeah.
sweaty beasts.
Most drummers
Yeah,
are. So let's
honestly,
let's
yeah,
be real. Oh, these are beautiful, and you do custom orders. I
I
know I've
do.
ordered some custom
Yeah,
ones from you before.
I like to be challenged. I
Hmm.
like when people send me an order that's specific for something, whether it's they want it to match their kit. I've had drummers want to match the theme of like a tour
Hmm.
itself.
Ah, that's cool.
I've got some camouflage yarn. So for some of my country artists,
Uh
I'll do a
huh.
camo yarn, and the top stitching will be in like that hunter orange.
Oh yeah,
In
of
case you're
course.
playing drums, in the whatever. I don't. I'm just
You're
saying.
not judging. You're
I
just
know.
there to.
I'm just the guy that makes mallets.
Uh huh.
But that's what I like. I like custom orders when people challenge me. Like, did you happen to see the Dunkin' Donuts mallets? Huh?
Yes, those were awesome.
Man, that was just for my love of Dunkin'. Honestly, I had some brown tones, and I happened to have the orange, and I
Uh
saw
huh.
the pink, and it just kind of
Just
clicked. And I'm
clicked.
like, I'm gonna have to do this. So, yeah,
That's really cool. So I don't know anything about the manufacturing process. Could you kind of do a general
sure.
overview on like how you would make something like this?
Yeah, I mean, the way mallets are typically made is it's going to be multiple revolutions of yarn being applied over top a core attached to a
Hmm.
dowel or a stick or whatever the case may be. I started making mallets like traditional marimba style mallets on like a 5/16 dowel rod. I started making those in the fall of 1996 on Thanksgiving break back home from college.
Nice.
We had just had a master class at Eastern Kentucky University. It's kind of like that last class before Thanksgiving break, like that.
Just trying to
Yep.
get over.
And it was on mallet maintenance. And they talked about how to restitch felt on timpani mallets.
Hmm.
I didn't pay attention to that. Honestly, the only thing I paid attention to was how to rewrap mallets, which no one else paid attention to, which was good for me.
Hmm.
But I paid close attention to it. There was something about it stuck for me. So I went home on Thanksgiving break, and I had a pair of junky suspended cymbal mallets. I cut the yarn off of them, and I sat in the room until I figured out how to do it. And that's
Wow.
kind of how I started. And I made the first set of mallets. I still have them. They're mine. I have set number one.
Hmm.
And the reason I started doing custom colors was because the next semester I did a piece for a percussion jury. I did a piece of music called Frogs by Keiko Abe. And I wanted to make a pair of mallets that were green to kind of give off the visual aspect of the piece being frogs.
Hmm.
And that was the first time I made custom mallets in a custom color for a specific reason.
Yeah.
And from that point, I had a friend that was doing a marimba piece called Yellow After the Rain. He wanted yellow mallets, and word of mouth started. Hey, this guy he'll wrap mallets in anything short of spotted owl. I don't have access to it.
For some
Yeah.
for some Chipotle bowls.
Oh, dude, absolutely, 100%. Don't even bring up what I'll do for a Klondike bar. Seriously, don't even.
Oh, that's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
these certainly are beautiful. They're awesome. I love playing mine.
Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate that.
if someone wants to create a custom order with you, what's the website? Where would they go? How would they find you?
Normally, I would give my website, which is www.adamargullin.com. However, for whatever reason, none of the emails are going through right now.
Okay.
The best way is to find me on social media and shoot me a message. And to be honest, if you can spell my last name, you shouldn't have any problem finding me. There's not too many Argullins in the world,
Uh-huh.
even fewer with the first name Adam. So
And we have your socials on the screen right now, so you
cool.
guys see below. If you don't already, go follow Adam. I can there's a lot of food picks. There's a
There
couple
is.
mallet picks in there.
Yeah.
Definitely coffee, your
Yeah.
jerky.
Yes.
You also, so Adam was super kind and he brought us some jerky today. Can you tell us about
Yeah.
like your jerky
Yeah,
hobby?
man. So I, when I'm not on the road, when I have some time off, I like to make jerky. I like to make beef jerky. I like to make bacon jerky. It's a good, healthy snack. And it's kind of expensive when you go out to the store and buy it. And it
Hmm.
wasn't the flavors I wanted and things like that. So figured out how to make my own cure. I carved my own meat up by hand. Then I started making bacon jerky, as you sampled earlier. That's
Yes,
meat candy. That's on
so
another
good.
level. I mean, yeah, that's also definitely not a need. That's definitely a want.
Uh huh.
It's not necessary by any stretch. But bourbon brown sugar bacon jerky is what we dined on earlier this night. It was good,
It
wasn't it?
doesn't get any better than that, really.
Pretty.
Like,
It's yeah. It's mm, meat candy. Like I said, it's just
do you ever bring it out on the road with you?
no. I didn't. I didn't take any out on tour last year. During the summer, I don't make as much of it just because the dehydrator gives us so much heat. So I try not to make it too often during the summer.
Hmm.
That and being gone on tour, jerky takes some time. There's nothing quick about it, and I like to let everything soak for a minimum of 24 hours before
Hmm.
I even put it on the racks to dry.
Gotcha.
So, and that's just me, just for taste and things like that.
Okay.
But
Speaking of tour,
yeah,
so you've been out on the road with Craig Morgan.
that's true.
Yeah, take as many sips as you want right now, or even refill if you need to. That's an awesome gig. Craig's quite the country singer,
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I was
and
fortunate enough to get a position with the camp last summer, and it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it immensely.
and you're stage managing.
Yes, yes. I got it was very random. Apparently, um, the drummer in the band lives north of us here, and um, he had called a mutual friend of ours. They were looking for somebody to join the camp to do some tech work, and he was trying to find somebody that he could possibly carpool with from like the Cincinnati area.
Mm-hmm.
So a mutual friend called me and said, "Hey, this guy would like to call you, see if you can help find somebody," because even the friend was calling me wanting to know if I knew of anybody,
Uh
not
huh.
me personally. And when I took the call, I wasn't even thinking about the position for me. I literally sat down talking on the phone, taking notes like I was going to pitch this to somebody and start thinking, who do I think would be good fit for this position? And we got to talking. The drummer and I were talking on the phone, and he didn't know much about me. I mean, you know
Mm-hmm.
how it is to be Facebook friends with somebody,
Yeah,
and
could
we
be anybody at this point.
yeah we were Facebook acquaintances. We didn't really know each other, and we got to talking and stuff like that. And I had told him I was a retired police officer and that I had this background and this like that, and he was like, "Dude, you really need to seriously think about this. I think you'd be a good fit for our camp." And I started thinking about it at that point. I
Mm-hmm.
started talking to my people. I started talking to my family and my friends, and it was a lot of juggling. It's a
I
lot of
bet.
commitment from a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people's schedules to be affected. And I did my first show with them May 20th of last year at Lori's Roadhouse in Westchester, and it was. And I got to stay on the bus after that. I figure if you make it past if
Yeah.
your first show's a hometown show and you don't get left,
Hey, that's a
yeah,
win right
it
there.
was a win. Little victories.
That
So
is so awesome. Can you give us a behind the scenes look of what a typical day as a stage manager? Uh,
sure. Well, for any gig, whether it's going to be inside or outside, the moment we show up to the venue, which is typically going to be in the morning,
mm-hmm.
if we haven't, if we didn't drive all night and got there early and we're parked and we're whether it's that or we're arriving early in the morning, I'm usually one of the first off the bus, whether it's 8 or 9, at latest 10 o'clock.
Wow,
Um,
that's a pretty early load in.
yeah, typically it's I hate to use the word headliner, but usually we're the last act on the bill, so we're the
Mm-hmm.
first to set up a lot of times. So
Makes sense.
I'm wrangling whatever stagehands are around at that venue, and we're dumping our trailer, and we don't pull just a trailer behind the bus. We have a full semi that has to be dumped when we get there.
Wow, that's a lot of equipment.
It is. But what's really cool, and one of the things we did this past summer to minimize load in and load out, is we took 8x8 risers. Um, they're 2 foot high and they're on wheels.
Mm-hmm.
You can split them in half. But what we did was we bolted the drum rack to it. It's a split rack, so the bass drum splits the seam.
Mm-hmm.
But that way, all we have to pull are the cymbals, the drums, and then the rack was bolted to the risers.
That's
So,
beautiful.
and those two 8x8s were the last things on the trailer when it's loaded in at night. So they would stack on top of each other. So that alone took almost 35 minutes off load in and load out alone, just not having to set up the key riser and the drum riser.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love the efficiency with that.
yeah, that was really nice. We numbered everything so that when hands are pitching things back to the truck at the end of the night, they're going to the driver in the right order so that they can be loaded just more efficient. That way, things don't bottleneck at the end, because if we don't leave the venue, we're not going to get to the next show on time.
Yep.
Yeah. But after after I've rounded up the stage hands, we dump the trailer. We get everything set up. From the time we start load out, we typically have a window of about 2 hours before we have to have sound check completed.
Okay.
Sometime a little bit longer, sometimes less, but we have to get set up, sound checked, and then if there's going to be opening acts, we have to go ahead and get the stage ready for them and,
Mm-hmm.
and pull things back and adjust. So,
Okay.
and then the waiting game until it's showtime. And during the show, I also keep Craig's acoustic guitars in tune. I'll walk his guitars and any other props we have at the show, whether it's American or military flags, or we actually have a traveling Grand Ole Opry mic stand that the
That's
Opry
really
made. When you're a Grand Ole Opry member that's been an Opry member as long as Craig has, you have a traveling, touring Opry mic stand, which I get the privilege of bringing that out at shows, which I love that thing. It's awesome. It's neat.
Bet.
It's really cool.
Man. So when you guys are packing up at the end of the night,
Mhm.
is there someone in your camp that knows exactly where everything's going and telling the stagehands where to put them? Is that you?
That's me.
Okay.
It's a collaboration at the end of the night, to be honest. It's myself, our monitor guy, and then our front of house is also our production manager.
Mm-hmm.
So between the three of us and then our driver and then whatever hands we have, everybody's got their duties.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I don't want any of my hands touching anything that's got a cable on it until this person's done touching with it, and he's not going to do this until this person's done over. There's a system to everything, and,
Yep.
it works for us. And this doesn't happen all the time. I mean, we've had loadouts at post show that were as quick as, I believe our record last year was 32 minutes, which is not bad.
That's impressive.
That's everything on the truck, doors closed, ready to go. That's
In a trailer.
in a trailer.
Wow.
Like I said, that doesn't happen every single night, but
Mhm.
that's a fingers crossed kind of. That's what
Yeah.
you shoot for.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, an hour is my.
Mm-hmm.
I expect it to be at an hour at this point, at
Mhm.
least by the end of tour last year. We're getting ready to start back up. It's gonna take a while to get there, but
Yeah.
we'll get there.
So the working at Memorial Hall,
Mhm.
we get a lot of acts from Nashville, and since it's only about a 4.5 hour drive, a lot of times we're getting the first show of the tour.
Oh, I got you.
And so you're kind of the guinea pigs,
Yeah.
and you're, as a stagehand, sometimes waiting around a little bit longer for
Sure.
them to figure out how to load everything in there.
Sure.
They might have been off for a couple months, or
Yeah.
trying to figure some new things out. So it's
I tell you what, we had a bad series of events get handed to us,
Mhm.
but it turned out beautifully. It was the first show of the God Family Country Tour last fall, which was going to end on Veterans Day, sold out show at the Ryman. So first show of the tour was going to be Green Bay. We got to the bus lot. We get on the bus. We depart. and an hour and a half in, the bus broke down.
Oh no.
So at this point, it was late. Some of us were already getting ready to crash for the night. So we're told we're turning around and heading back to Nashville, and they've got mechanics coming in that are going to meet us, get us back on the road. We're going to get on our way.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I'm like, cool, I'm going to bed because we're going to be rushed now.
Yep.
So I go to bed, and I wake up because I realize the AC's not on anymore on the bus, and I thought that's weird. And I get off. I start to get off the bus, and I look out the window and realize that's inside of a garage, and the sun's coming up. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's crazy.
we're still in Nashville. We couldn't. There were a lot of issues.
Mhm.
So that was kind of scary that we weren't going to get there on time. But what ended up happening was our truck travels independent from the tour bus.
Mm-hmm.
Our driver got there on time, and he's seen us set the stage up enough that he was able himself to get everything. I mean, he didn't throw the drums and things on the risers, but every riser was set up, placed where it was supposed to be, cages or cases opened up where they were. I mean, everything was to the point where we rolled in. We were supposed to start at 8 o'clock. We rolled in at 7:30, and we were maybe 6 minutes late.
That's amazing.
It was incredible. It was it was unreal, and it was a great show too.
That's a great team member too.
It really was.
Just pick. You gotta
Yeah.
roll the dice and do whatever.
Yeah.
You got to do.
Yeah.
To make the show happen.
And it was cool because the hands knew. So the hands were all just kind of like waiting on us to roll in. Like, what can we do? So everybody understood, and it was very nice. Yeah, it was nice.
That is awesome. Sally, she's asking, Aaron, where's your cap? Normally I wear like a baseball cap of some sort.
Yeah.
It's kind of my thing, but I wanted to put my makeup on and look cute for you, so I did my hair a little bit today. So
you know how to make a girl feel special. You do.
If you bring me bacon, I'll do anything.
That's the way to your heart.
Yeah. Good old Brian really does a good job helping out all the artists we deal with. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Brian's my production friend / boss at Memorial Hall.
Nice.
So we've done a lot of shows together, and a lot of them are great. And then sometimes you get some crews where they're running in late, and we're the people that are there to help and making everyone's lives easier.
Yeah.
And just trying to be as professional and quick as possible. So
Absolutely.
everybody knows in the business how it goes.
And that's one of the things that, as a stage manager, I've always tried to. I love starting every day at a venue is if I can get every hand together, and I like to talk to them before we even open up the back of the truck and just, hey, I wasn't here last night. I wasn't with the crew that was here, and I'm not going to be with the crew that's going to be here tomorrow. I'm here right now.
Yep.
We're all here to do the same job, so let's just sit back, relax, and hopefully we don't end up making a policy with somebody's name today.
Yeah.
No one gets hurt, and we all go home and have a great day. So that's what we kind of strive for, is efficient and safe.
I like that.
So,
and you could also tell how well the day is going to go when the stage manager comes, and they take a look at the venue and how they interact and how personable they are.
Sure.
And some of the questions, and sometimes you pre-lay out to what's the stage plot.
Sure.
And of course there's always something that is on the stage plot that they don't need anymore or whatever, but you could tell pretty quickly how the day is going to go.
Sure.
And I could see, like, if you walked in to the venue, it's going to be a great day, and I'm sure that translates to the people that you work with, and also why you're in the position that you're in, working with the great crew that you're with.
I guess, to be honest, probably my law enforcement background translates well, because one of the things that I did was I supervised a group of volunteers for the police department. That's really no different than supervising a group of hands. It's a different set of people at every day.
Yeah.
Different set of people with a different set of agendas and a different set of problems, But I like that. I like
Yeah.
dealing with different people because it's what I'm used to. It's always changing, and you get to meet a lot of different people. I just find that cool,
Same.
and I love it. You know as well as I do. It's really cool when you run into somebody from a crew that you had a good experience with once before.
Yes.
I don't know how often you have that
It's
at
starting to
Memorial.
happen now
Yeah.
in my career. I think I've been with 3CDC 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just happened like a couple weeks ago. And it was really special.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I remember you. You were with so and so.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, this particular person, I remember the first time I met him, he was buying a house in Nashville, sight unseen,
Uh-huh.
on the road, just doing what he had to do to
Yeah.
find real estate in Nashville. And I remember that. It stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
His wife was pregnant at the time. And he came back this time around. I said, "Hey, I remember you. Did you end up buying the house?" And he's like, "You have a great memory. That was like a year ago." But no, he didn't end up buying the house. He found something else. For all you people hanging on to that story, but it's cool to just have
It
that
is.
happen.
Being out in the Midwest, a lot of times at different shows, there would be certain crews that would provide like the apex stage or maybe the sound crew. We'd run into some of those same production companies, and it was always nice, especially when they would say, "Oh yeah, we've heard great things about your crew," or you'd see that familiar face that you saw at the last gig. Especially when they were a great crew, you're
Uh-huh.
excited when you roll up and see them there. You know it's going to be a solid day.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm reading through some of the comments. My brother said barrel aged honey glazed bacon jerky. Yeah, we have to do that.
Yes, that's going to happen.
And in fact, Ryan, I gave him your honey, so
Yes.
he's gonna come home with your hot honey and put it on all the jerky.
Just like to clarify that when you say I gave him your honey, let's clarify that that is an edible commodity. I just would like to throw that out there just so there's no confusion.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
my brother's a beekeeper, and he makes honey. So anybody that wants some honey, you can go to his website. It's Honey Hoarder Bees. Just a shameless plug. But anyways, yeah, my brother stopped by today, and he said, "Hey, give this to Adam."
Thank you
Uh,
so much.
and it turns out that you are a fan of peppers
Oh yeah,
and hot, so it was perfect.
I grow peppers during the summer, grow some jalapenos, stuff like
Nice.
that. I eat a lot of hot foods. I don't have a lot of respect for my stomach, just a
Same.
yeah.
It's beautiful. Let me see. Let me go down the list. Oh, so on your off days on the road,
Mm?
what are you doing? Are you searching for dive bars? Are you searching for breweries? Are you just like sleeping in your bunk? Like,
What is this off day?
yeah.
Honestly, the way our tour schedule kind of worked, which last year was my first summer out with Craig, but the way our schedule worked is we would be gone a lot of times. What a lot of people refer to as kind of weekend warrior, and we would leave on maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday and come back on Sunday morning or Sunday night or maybe even Monday. There were some runs where we had like a 2 week run and we might have 2 days off here or a random day off here, and it would kind of depend on where we're at because some of those days off might be in transit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if we had a day off, let's see, this past summer we were in Utah for a little bit.
Exciting place to be off.
Well, we were parked at a hotel is where we'd park our bus at, and we were within walking distance of a Planet Fitness, which I have a black card for tour,
There you go.
but it was also equal distance to an In-N-Out burger, and I can't explain
Decisions were made
to
that
you.
day.
That's a level of stress that I can't make that decision because I know what I need and what I want again.
Yeah. So did you get it animal style or what?
Oh, well, I went twice.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to clarify which time. The first time I went full blown fat kid. I think I got a triple animal style, animal fries, and maybe even a shake. And
Wow.
what's the diabetes? Yeah. Looked at that. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. It was inappropriate. But then I went to Planet Fitness, and then I went we were there 2 days, I wised up, went to the gym, and then I went back and did what is it without the bun? Protein style, I think they
Okay.
call it. They'll do it protein style, which they'll do it in lettuce wraps.
So
So
you felt a little less guilty.
I went no fries and did two double doubles. I don't know how I did this fat kid math in my head. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, this
This evens
this
out.
balances somehow. It's the equivalent of getting a supersized meal and then a diet coke.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Hey, as long as you know that.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not judging though. That's so how do you prioritize your schedule with everything going on? I mean, you're a trainer, you are a public speaker, you're on tour, freelance drummer. You do all the things. How do you prioritize your schedule?
I like to throw spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks.
Mhm.
Honestly, I'm terrible at prioritization. Here's what I do. People, hey, you should make a list. That's a great idea.
Mhm.
So I'll make a list and I'll lose it. And it'll have been a good list. So
Uh-huh.
I'll have to make myself a new list. And at the top of that list, it's going to say find the old list. And then I'm going to start making this new list. And it's going to be pretty extensive. And then I'm going to lose that one too. It's just a revolving thing. And then I'll find the first list and I'll start it's a ridiculous process. It's a lot. It really is. I travel a lot. I think I did the math of between teaching and tour and everything else last year. I think I was on the road something like 165 days out of the year
Man.
last year. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot. But it's just a lot. It's just trying to prioritize and do a little bit here and there and multitask. I've found myself many a times jumping on the bus at like 10 o'clock on a whatever weeknight to go on a run and sitting up for the next 3 or 4 hours just rapping mallets, just
Yeah.
doing one thing while I'm doing something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of it's just one of those things. I think it's because I've always worked since I was so young. I don't know what to do with myself if I'm not doing something.
I think that's the best way to be, especially on the road. It's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Oh yeah.
And you could be the guy that goes to the bar,
Mm-hmm.
or you could be the guy that's rapping mallets and writing emails and
Yeah.
trying to solidify gigs for when you're not on the road.
Absolutely. Yeah, all those things. It's how you occupy your time. That's one thing I've found, and I've really never had a problem with finding things to occupy my time.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely, there's a lot of time to do those things. And you were also talking about as far as time off. Every now and then, I love to find if I'm not looking for a good place to eat that's quirky and off the beaten path, or some place that we can't get like back here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, me and some of the other guys like to look at like pawn shops, vintage shops, things like that, just to see if we can find that must have for the
Yeah.
road to take back home. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking I might find an acrolite or a black beauty in this
Yep.
pawn shop. You never know
Might
what
be
you're
$50 or
gonna. Oh
something.
yeah, I would love that, but in reality, never happens.
But
But
it's what keeps you coming back, though.
yeah, it's a team building exercise at this point.
Mhm.
We go get breakfast, we hit the shops and see if we can find some stuff. We do things like that.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of us that work out too, and we keep a weight set under the bus just in case there's not a gym close by.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we do on days off. We had a day off as a group. We all went to Niagara Falls last summer. That was cool
Yeah.
for all of us to go and do that as a band. But those are kind of some of the things we do. We've gone to movies together.
Mm-hmm. I've done
So-
that a couple times.
Yeah.
It's the small things.
It is, and of course we obviously eat together every chance we get.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. When you're out on the road, is your diet mostly consist of barbecue? Do you eat a lot of?
Yeah, yeah. Too much barbecue. And especially the venues that we're playing, it's
Yeah.
mostly bar food, so a lot of fried foods, and there's, there's usually an after party of some sort, and it's to have like a burger and French fries. It's
Mhm.
gonna like sustain you a little bit better if like the only other option's like a salad, and so it's not healthy at this level.
Yeah.
I'm not at the level where we're getting catering or anything like that. So it's like, hey, you're playing a bar. you get $15 and spend it, and like that's going to be your meal for the day.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll go like, what's the best bang for my buck?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, too much bar food, too much barbecue.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I love barbecue and I love bar food as
Yeah.
well. So I mean,
When we tour, I keep. It's funny because I'll keep like the ramen cups with me
mm-hmm.
because it's easy to stow away. You can cook it on the bus. So what I'll do is sometimes if like there's a fruit or veggie tray, no one's gonna touch that veggie tray. So I'll go
Yep.
snag like the broccoli and stuff like that, and then
Oh
put it in my
yeah,
ramen bowl.
that's
See,
smart,
yeah,
resourceful too.
it's that's what I go for. Little tuna packs or chicken packs. You can
Mm-hmm.
make if you do it right, you might make some chicken broccoli, maybe some pad thai, something on the bus. You can get it going on if you know if you know what's up.
Yeah, I like that, man.
Yeah.
I'll usually just bring like a bag of nuts,
Mm-hmm.
assortment, kind of like a trail mix,
Mm-hmm.
and some Cliff Bars,
Mm-hmm.
just something to sustain myself. Anytime we have to fill up for gas, I don't go in
Yeah.
unless I have to go to the restroom. I don't buy gas station food.
Mm-hmm.
I try to avoid fast food at all costs.
Yeah.
Because I know, well, I'm probably going to be playing a bar tonight anyways. I'm going to eat something
Yeah.
unhealthy. Um, and so just little healthy snack foods to help
Mm-hmm.
sustain you throughout the day. That's key.
I do a lot of peanut butter and honey. I just do a lot of peanut butter in general.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about Cliff Bars. I'm the same. I do. I enjoy some Cliff Bars from time to time. And I actually have really gotten into. I drink cranberry juice like crazy. I love it. But I've gotten into craisins, like the you know what I'm talking about, the dried.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love those, man. I could eat them. I could eat a whole bag full of them. Love those things.
Man, I think. Do you like those, Mindy? Yeah, my
Like,
wife likes those.
oh, they're so good, man. I like to put them on salads. Actually, that's so good. Yeah.
I dig it. Speaking of salads, we this isn't entertaining to talk about, but we've been making our own ranch dressing at home, and so that's been fun for us. Just a kind of a
Buttermilk ranch? What were we talking here?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do the buttermilk, a little bit of mayo, sour cream, typical ranch packet, some paprika, some Spanish paprika, um, some pepper, fresh garlic,
That sounds good.
and yeah, put it in the KitchenAid. Works.
You ever go to Chewy's? I know you like Chipotle, but you ever go to Chewy's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right next to Top Golf. So sometimes we'll
Oh, I
go
forgot
to
where
Chewy's and then we'll go
I'm
to.
up. I forgot where I'm at right now.
Oh yeah,
I don't have a Top Golf. I don't have access to it. This is kind
this
of
is the north, baby.
I know. Am I technically on the east side right now?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to get my signs right. You know,
Yep.
I want to start stacking when I'm leaving. You know, pull off the curb. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want to start sea walking and get shot around
Mhm.
here. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about,
we
don't Google
we
it.
are on the east side, born and raised.
I like it. I like it.
I've got some west side friends. I like to give shit a little bit.
I got you. If you reason I asked if you like Chewy's, here you go. That jalapeno ranch they do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, get some sour cream. Go get some jalapenos. Go get a packet of ranch. Blend it, mix it. You're done.
There you go.
That's it. You can season it a little bit if you want. Otherwise, you're done.
I like that.
That's it. As hot as you want it too.
Mm.
I use I use 6 or 7 jalapenos. I think most people do
Wow.
like 3 or 4.
You like the heat.
Yeah, I don't like the. Honestly, I started eating hot food really heavy when I used to suffer from migraines pretty bad, and I would resort to super hot foods, not because it would cure the migraine, but it would divert my attention.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I would just
That's
do,
one way to do it.
I would do blister and hot stuff, but my last 5 years that I was an officer, I had an average of 1 migraine a month for that 5 years.
That sounds rough.
There's a lot. There's a lot of them. I mean, playing gigs with a migraine is the worst. I don't know what it was, but every time I would take a run to Chicago, I don't know if it was just a drastic change in the temperature,
Mm-hmm.
but almost every time I would take a run up to Chicago, I would get a migraine either on the way there or coming home. Every single run,
That's
always
strange.
have. I know.
Do you still get them?
I get maybe 2, 3 a year.
Okay.
Usually blood pressure related or change in the environment. A lot of times migraines can be based on, you can judge them by the barometric pressure. If there's a drastic change in the barometric pressure,
Mm-hmm.
you're more susceptible. This is also the worst area in the United States for migraines. Did you know that?
I did not.
This area that we are currently in, this is the worst area.
That is crazy.
I don't know what it is.
Thank you for the.
And
Mindy will have to fact check over
if
here.
you need any other, movie quotes,
Mhm.
song references, random facts, knowledge, whatever, I can
You're the guy?
probably, yeah.
Awesome. So you were telling me a story before we started streaming. So you have this guitar case
Yes,
on
yes,
tour. Can you tell me a little bit about that? I think that's really special.
sure. So there's obviously a lot of guitars that the camp uses between, we have our bass player rolls with two guitars, and our lead player runs with at least three, and then we have a utility player plus Craig's acoustics and his electric. So we have a good sized guitar vault, and guitar vaults end up getting random decorations get stuck in guitar vaults. So when I took the position, they told me, hey, you can clean all that stuff out of there, whatever, put whatever you want in there. So I put one of my old shoulder patches from my police uniform, one that I had worn that was cut off of an old stained, dirtied uniform.
Mm-hmm.
So I put my patch in there, just to remind me of what I used to do, the things I used to see, and things like that. And then we were doing a show in Oklahoma, and at outside venues there would always be security detail, police officers working. And I struck up a conversation with this officer that was working on this Indian reservation we were at in Oklahoma. And we got to talking, and I told him about my background and stuff like that because he had seen my patch. And later that day, he came over and asked if he could put his patch in the guitar vault. We obviously did, and then it just kind of started happening. The next show I was at, I made contact with one of the officers working,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. And now the vault is, I'm going to say it's probably about 40% covered right now, and that's just from last tour.
Wow.
I taught a law enforcement class earlier this year, or I'm sorry, late last year. This is back in December. Every single student in class and every instructor that I taught with, every single one of them brought a patch to represent every agency in that group, and they
Man,
want it
that's
to go in the
cool.
vault this fall. And so it's kind of taken on its own thing. We'll have officers show up to shows that are they're off duty from some other jurisdiction that are just a fan and they want to put their patch in the vault. I've had entire shifts of officers in whatever town that we've stopped in pop over, and I'll give them a tour of backstage and show them the guitar vault, and they love seeing the Opry mic stand, and it's really cool. They really enjoy it, and it's kind of turned into its own thing, and I really like being a part of it. And it wasn't something I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to start that or anything, but it just kind of happened and took on a life of its own. It's been really neat.
I think it's really cool how it just naturally came about and
Yeah.
it wasn't forced and you weren't trying to leave your mark on this case, but
No.
I think it's really genuine how it's how that kind of gained interest, and I have no doubt that this year you're going to fill it up.
One of the things that I've enjoyed most about it is getting to talk to officers, and it's cool because I'll meet officers that are 1 and 2 years out of the academy that are full of piss and vinegar. By the way, I never understood that reference. Was somebody trying to make a salad
Just
dressing or a drink?
Bitterness
What
or
was
something? I don't know.
Anyway, I'll see
I'd try
these
it.
young guys that are like full of it and ready to go, and then you'll see the middle of the road guys that are kind of unsure if they want to stay in the profession, and then I see the old guys that are like, "Yep, I got 2 years, 6 months, and 14." And I was one of those at one point. I was that guy.
Uh-huh.
But no matter what stage they are in their career, it's been nice that they can see that there is life outside of the job. You know, I found something to do to use the skills that I had for 20 years, and there's a practical application. There are things to do. You're not stuck doing what you're doing right now because having been in that position for so many years, I understand that there's a point where you kind of get jaded You just do.
I bet.
It's the nature of the beast, and it's one of the things I've liked doing, having that opportunity to talk to so many people that work in the public service industry.
It's a beautiful thing. That's cool. Um, what are you looking forward to most this year? I'm sure you guys have your schedules probably forming.
Yeah, the schedule's forming right now. I'm looking to get back out there. Honestly, I would love to see some familiar faces again that I met last summer because I had such a good time out on the road because it was an eye-opening experience for me and meeting new people and things like that. And it would be cool to see some friendly faces out there. It's always nice.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a show in Kentucky this year in April, which that's going to be kind of cool. It's at Renfro Valley, so I think I've already got some friends that have said they're going to come to that show. So it'll be nice to see some people I know at some shows. I didn't have that happen too many times this past summer.
Uh huh.
We weren't around here, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I'd imagine it would be a little difficult because you're working all day,
Oh yeah,
but at the same time, you know that there are friends that are coming, and you got to see them, and you got to carve some time out or try to, and it's got to be difficult.
and you know that hurry up and wait time. No one wants to get to the venue at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and
No.
chill, which is when
Exactly.
I'm free
Yeah, they're
usually.
still at work.
Yeah. So that you're right. It does make it hard because there's a very limited window, and with my position, yeah, I can't ask somebody to load my gear for me at the end of the show while I say hi to my friends. Yeah, I can't say, "Hey, bro, do you mind loading that semi over there while I say hi to somebody?" No one in the band is gonna. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
ask anybody in the
Have your
band to
friends
do
and
that.
family take a road case.
Yeah, like, hey guys, we're gonna push stuff up a ramp now.
Mm-hmm.
This is a loading dock.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Do you guys have a lift?
No,
Okay.
we don't. We just sometimes we get fortunate enough that we have a good kind of dock.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we roll with 3 sets of ramps of
Okay.
varying lengths to get the job done. So we have it all with us.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What advice do you have out there for drummers who are maybe struggling to find their identity and struggling to find a gig that best fits their playing style or maybe their personality?
Well, I think that for one, if a lot of younger drummers I talk to say, I don't really know who I am as a drummer, yeah, things like that. I don't think until you've played with enough other people, you aren't going to know who you are. You may have an idea of what you want or like. I'll be honest, when I was a young drummer, I the only motivation that I had was I wanted to play like Neil. You know, that was it.
Neil Peart?
Yeah, but
I guess there is only one Neil, really.
yeah, I mean it's
No,
but
Neil, he's my neighbor.
yeah, man, that guy is just special. Um, but at that age, you know, country was everything around me, but I wasn't 11 years old wanting to be a country drummer because country drumming at that time I didn't think was that cool. Looking back on it, I love playing 80s and 90s country, but back then that wasn't great to me. That wasn't exciting, but I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I hadn't gotten out and played with musicians from that genre. So until you get out and mix it up with enough players, I don't know that a person can really know what their identity is as a musician. They need to figure that out, and it comes with time. There's been things that I've said, man, I can't wait to do this, and then I did it, and I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yep.
That was not for me. Just you live, you learn.
That's a great answer. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, I know you have some endorsements.
I do. I have a few.
Can we give a quick shout out to them?
Yeah.
I almost sorry to interject,
Yo.
but I almost feel bad because I know not everyone that comes here plays SJC or Zildjian or Remo Heads or whatever, but like I love having everything pre-set up.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't have to come and bring anything.
You just took a variable out of it. I mean, there's something to be said about that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love the gear that you've got here. I've enjoyed playing and tinkering with everything.
What do you think about that gong drum that Tim made for me?
I
Queen
got
City Drums,
yeah,
shout out.
I actually got to see one of these in action at the Music City Drum Show. Not to brag or anything, no big deal. I know the guy. But yeah, I got to see one of these in action a couple years ago, and I loved it then. It was awesome, and I love seeing this one here, matching your kit and everything.
Thank you.
This is sexy. I like this. This is nice. Yeah, I'll give a shout out to Mapex Drums. I've been with them for quite a few years with Dream Cymbals. I am with Los Cabos Drumsticks and All Claire in-ear monitors.
Awesome.
So,
Is Mapex, they're out of Nashville, right? Or
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. They are indeed. They're. I joined them back in 2014. So
Congrats.
I've been with them a while. I love their gear.
Mhm.
I've been with them a long time, and they get the job done everywhere I go.
I see a lot of Nashville cats playing Mapex and
Yeah.
checks out. Speaking of that,
Mm-hmm.
so you make these mallets,
Mhm.
and you have artists that play your mallets.
Yeah. Yeah.
How often do you get somebody that wants to be endorsed that you know has never actually played your mallet before?
A a lot. Honestly, it's kind of humorous. I got I got a letter about a year ago from a guy seeking an endorsement. It's just for those that are seeking endorsement or sponsorship. It's good to spell the word endorsement correctly. I mean, most computation devices have spell check. You know. Also, it's a good thing that when you send that email, that if you are cutting and pasting from a letter you've sent another company, make sure you took their name out
Oh no.
before you send it to
That's happened
me.
before?
Yeah.
That
Oh
is
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Or it'll say like, "I'd really like to endorse your drums." I don't make drums, buddy. I make mallets. You know.
Just wasting your
You're
time.
yeah. Come on, delete.
What advice would you give to people out there that they want an endorsement?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all want them, but it has to come from a genuine place
Sure.
and also a realistic place.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have any followers or you're not gigging,
Yeah.
maybe just suck it up and pay the $10 for a pair of drumsticks.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's the thing. Everybody that uses my mallets, that is one of my artists, I know them. I've talked to them. I've seen them play. I've watched them, and
mhm.
that's a lot of it. I had someone one time. Actually, it was kind of criticism I got because this person messaged me and said, "Hey, I looked up some of your artists," and this wasn't even a person that was asking for sponsorship. It wasn't somebody that I denied or anything. This was just somebody that randomly messaged me and said, "Hey, I looked at all of your artists, and I looked. This person only has so many followers. Why would you choose to sponsor that person?"
Mhm.
Which I thought was kind of odd that they're calling me out about it.
It's your business.
He's one of the most creative drummers that I know. And yes, he lives around here. He's not out touring, but I
Mhm.
love watching this kid play. And that right there is if I can help fuel his music career by doing that, then yeah, I'm going to.
Mhm.
He's a great dude. He's a great player. So absolutely, that's why.
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of weird that he wanted me to justify why that person was one of my artists. It's kind of odd to me.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah, not cool.
Um, so I'm going to leave the floor open. If there's anyone else out there that has some questions for us, now's your chance to get them in. I'm going to go to these, just some silly, random, rapid fire questions. There's no rhyme or reason to these. So we're going to do this, and then we're just going to jam a little bit,
Sounds good.
and then we'll get you on your way.
Cool.
Um, what band is on your bucket list that you haven't seen yet?
This is every time that I've ever contemplated making a bucket list and I do it, someone passes away. So anytime I get this question, I defer
Okay.
out of fear that I'm going to jinx
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not joking. Um, this question was asked to me a number of years ago. I said Prince. Guess what happened? Yeah. I said Soundgarden. Guess what happened?
Oh,
E-
Chris.
every time I have said this
Mhm.
and made a list, somebody on my list has perished.
Man.
So I'm not making any more
So
lists.
you want to
like
see Morgan Wallen? Is that what you're saying?
man, shots fired.
No, I'm just kidding. uh,
Just need a little more fog hat. Honestly, that's it. No, there's so many people that I would love to see that there's just no opportunity to see them all. I take every opportunity that I get to see live music, no matter who they are, just because I love the experience. I love the vibe, the energy that's in that room. There's nothing like it. I mean,
Agreed.
that seconds before music hits, when the house music has dropped and the lights are going down and everybody in that room is waiting, whether they're on or off stage, it's magic, and it's you just can't describe it. There's something that's in the air. It's cool.
I feel that. What's your favorite local band?
I don't have a favorite
artist.
local, honestly, because I spent the last summer not being around. So there's so many people that I don't know what projects they're in now. I've as a musician, I have some of favorite players that I love playing with, and I have people that I love seeing, but I don't know if I could narrow it down to just one. I don't even have just a favorite venue in this area, honestly. I apologize for the vagueness, but
No, it's okay.
It just is.
It's all good. These are just so
Yeah.
random, fun questions. But that did spark another question.
Yeah.
So you were gone for most of last year. As a freelance drummer, do you feel like, hey, I'm out of sight, out of mind, and you come back and the phone isn't ringing for drumming gigs?
Oh man,
Is that a true thing?
I think I've. What month is? That's horrible.
I think it's March.
Oh,
but
we're into March now. I think I've played 2 gigs this calendar year so far.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a change. I've taught a lot. I have taught a whole lot this first part of the year, teaching for the state, and I teach private lessons too. I have drum students that come over to my studio, so I've been busy doing things like that, and I've actually had a lot of mallet orders here lately that I'm trying to get caught up on before tour starts back up.
Oh,
so
I bet.
I'm trying to get those knocked out as well.
Well, it's just funny because everything kind of comes in waves. As a freelancer, you have so many things, and sometimes your gig schedule is going to be low, but that's when your production schedule picks up, or that's maybe when your mallet orders start to pick up. And I think it's really cool that you have so many things going on, because I mean, really, that's how I'm able to do this for a living as well. At this stage, I can't rely 100% on gigging.
Yeah,
it's the majority, but production is a key role to that, and I feel like everyone has, to a certain level or degree, has to have a mix of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been about having multiple streams of revenue. I've always had multiple jobs. Whether it's just always been one of those things. I've always done extra things just on the side. When I was an officer, I did off-duty details, picked up extra side work that law enforcement officers would do, and just hustling. It's just always doing something.
And I also feel like it helps from burning out as well. If if I had to do one thing 100% of the time, probably be burned out a little bit. So
100%.
I want new things.
Yeah.
So my buddy Aaron says, "Is Last in Line looking for a new stage manager?" And that was my high school band. So
nice.
Maybe we'll do like a 25-year anniversary or 30. I don't know what it would be at this point. Maybe maybe 20.
Nice.
15.
You get the band back together.
Yeah, we'll get the band back together.
Yeah.
We'll play at the Underground. You remember that venue?
Yes.
Oh, good. Or the Mad Frog, R.I.P.
Oh wow, yeah.
What's your favorite part about making beef jerky?
Sampling it, honestly.
I thought that would be your answer.
Oh, 100%.
The finished product.
When I carve it, you always got to cut some small pieces because quality control.
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Someone's got to do it.
you know, and I'll be that guy. I'll jump in front. I'll try the meat. It's fine. I'll do it.
Try the meat candy.
Yeah.
If you were a type of mallet, what would you be and why? You could tell I really spent a lot of time on these rapid fire questions.
Huh. If I was a mallet, what would I be and why? I'm gonna have to say the shaker mallet because it's kind of dumb. It's gonna take up a lot of space. Doesn't have a lot of use. But it's neat. That's it. There's my answer.
And someone's gonna want to play it.
And
so,
yeah, there it is.
And of course, that was the one that like I was immediately gravitated towards, and like, oh yeah, check this out.
Getting weird vibes now. It's
Favorite brewery?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to. Sorry, they're not from this area, not from this Cincinnati area. But my favorite brewery would probably have to be Blue Stallion down in Lexington.
Okay.
They have
Not Country Boy.
I like Country Boy, but Blue Stallion does. They do a peanut butter porter.
Ooh.
That will blow your mind. Yeah, and it's just I love peanut butter. I totally love peanut butter.
You've said that a couple times, so I mean
that's not something I've ever really seen anywhere else, and it's pretty heavy. It's definitely something you want to sip on, but it's amazing. And the last time I happened to stop down there, they had somebody's cider, a fruit cider, and they were pouring PBJs.
Oh,
come on!
That sounds amazing.
Come on, yeah. That's what hooked me. That's what did it for me right there.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Last question: if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
If I could have any superpower, what would it be?
Yeah.
You know what? I would like to defer this question to you because I would literally. I want to hear your answer. What would your superpower be of all the superpowers? Easy.
Yeah.
How do you go easy on this one?
You know how like Spider-Man has a web?
Yeah.
Mine would be peanut butter.
You want to shoot peanut butter?
Yeah, but I mean it'd still be like a web. But like, if you get hungry, you just squirt a little.
Bro, you're living in a web of lies right now. Come on, you're not gonna. That's not gonna work. Like, is that gonna? You can't.
Mine would like be.
Okay, peanut butter.
Yeah.
Creamy, crunchy.
Creamy.
Okay.
Okay, so you're a crunchy guy.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm a creamy guy, and I'm gonna take it a step further. I like the creamy with honey.
That's
See,
the move.
That's where it's at.
I have, and fortunately because of Ryan I have, so Ryan is my brother. He's the beekeeper. So we have endless amounts of honey, and so I'm honey rich.
Oh, I understand.
So honey is in my diet every single day. And usually I'll start the day with a banana, peanut butter, and honey. And then I'll put honey in my coffee, which is something that Billy Brown turned me on to
Oh, yeah.
when we were on the road together. He's like, "You've never had honey in your coffee?"
Oh, yeah.
It's like, "No, but I love honey, and I love coffee." So, and I try to limit my sugar intake, so it kind of makes it's healthier.
I know some guys that will take honey and put it in a sandwich bag. Not a lot of it, and they'll roll it down, but what they'll use that as a quick source of energy so you can bite the end off of it, squeeze that honey into your mouth. And if you think about that pre-show, like when I do school assembly programs, if I'm going to have a long day, like if I'm going to try to do 3 assemblies in one day or something, I'll pack peanut butter honey sandwiches with me for the simple fact that I can quickly carb load and it burns fast and it's quick energy and it's delicious. You know, that's always been my go-to is peanut butter and honey sandwiches for post-show like driving home 2 hours if I've got a long gig or something like that, like a drumming gig and I'm driving home. It's always been my energy snack, and I don't feel guilty about it. And then my car doesn't smell like tacos or White Castles the next day when I get in. Like, why do my drums stink?
Yep.
I don't have to worry about that.
We've all been there before.
Oh, yeah.
Those little beautiful sliders. I now that I think about it, I did kind of grow up on peanut butter and honey sandwiches. My papaw made those for me,
Oh yeah.
and maybe I got to start reintroducing that for my gigs.
I just brought this up at a class I was teaching this past week, and I had one of the students in class said, "If you're not doing peanut butter and marshmallow fluff, you're an amateur."
Ooh.
I hadn't thought that one through, and he said on toast because it starts making them warm up and start to melt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued.
That sounds great.
It does. It kind of does.
Sounds super healthy, but
Not at all.
it's it sounds delicious.
But think about it.
Yeah.
The best things aren't, you know, miniature muffins. You wouldn't want to eat something too sugary, but if it's a small muffin, it's almost like breakfast vitamins. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nutella. People eat Nutella all the time, but it almost has the same nutritional value as cake frosting.
I can see that. Yeah.
But if I had cake frosting for breakfast, people are going to think I'm strange.
Mhm.
Nutella, perfectly
Yeah,
acceptable.
socially acceptable.
It's all about perspective.
Nutella and peanut butter and apples or banana,
dude. Yes.
and then honey, of course. So
Yeah. I
honey
like
is the
that.
glue. Well, with that being said, Adam, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate your time. I have heard a lot about you throughout the years. We've had some brief run-ins, but this was really our first real time hanging out, and it was a pleasure.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your hospitality, both of you. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
So welcome. Thank you, Mindy, for
Yes.
running the
thank you.
switcher and making sure that the computer isn't burning down. And thank you, everyone that was watching from home, hanging out with us. Anyone that commented. I'm going to continue to do these as much as I can with my schedule, and it's been a fun thing. So thank you guys. If you guys didn't watch this, then I'd still do it, honestly, because this is so fun for me.
It was a good time.
But
Absolutely.
it always helps when people are enjoying it too.
Sure.
So with that being said, I'm gonna shut this mic off, and then I'll have you play a beat, and we'll just ride it out.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's do something.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. That was a good way to end it. Adam, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You
Thanks for
got-
having me. I appreciate it, dude.
That was so much fun.
It's been fun, dude.
You guys have a good night.